I really came of age when I was at OSU-Newark. I began in 1988, and I initially was very wet behind the ears. I was not very savvy to the ways of the world. The teachers were incredible. I found myself in an environment that was intellectually challenging. I found myself in an environment where I had role models that I could follow. I found myself in an environment where, really for the first time, I was being completely challenged, and I was in a community of minds. I had never had that before. We would have 15, 20 people in a class at the most, and it was wonderful. It was large enough where you had some diversity of thought, but small enough where you kept everyone honest. All the instructors really did that. And the instructors also opened my eyes to other sort of non-traditional ways of thinking. I mean, I'm really blocking on her name right now, but there was a professor in English who we read many of the classics, but she also said, let's read a book of modern fiction. And she opened me, she gave me a book called The Sword of Shannara, which was a book about wizards and warriors, and I had never read anything like that, and it was fascinating. And they're still producing those books today. I mean, there's like 15, 16 in that line of books, and I'm still reading them. So I was open to those kinds of experiences. And having the small class size was very nice. I mean, the largest class I ever had was maybe 40 students. Like many students here, I would work my way through college, and I relied upon financial aid in terms of Pell Grants. But also I had the good fortune of working as a laboratory assistant, getting paid for a portion of my time that I would work. And that was gold. I was able to graduate from undergrad without any loans at all. And that's in part because I did what most of the students here probably do. I stayed at home. My mom had just recently passed, and my dad needed some help just around the house, not financially, but just around the house. So I stayed at home. And I was lucky because I had this great school that was in my backyard. And a lot of people don't have that. They have to go far away to a great school, and that school was just happened to be right here. So I got to do two things. Number one, I got to establish an adult relationship with my dad. And having him recover from my mother's death and have me there was very important for us, for both of us. And then I also got to mature intellectually at college, with having college be only 20 or 30 minutes away. I was fortunate enough that I had some of the experience, the traditional college experience, but they were also flexible enough. They understood that I couldn't have the fraternity or that kind of experience. I didn't want that experience. I wanted just to learn and to read and to do that stuff, and I got all of that here. And of course, I had all the benefits of Ohio State. The campus, at the time there was no internet. That's right, I'm prehistoric. But we had an interlibrary loan. The library over there was a tremendous tool, and I could order any manuscript I wanted, any book I wanted. It would be over here in a day and a half, 2 days. And that was amazingly helpful. That, it coupled with the fact that I would sometimes go over and visit Denison University, which is right down the road. I had everything I needed intellectually to do what I needed to do. I wouldn't be where I am now without OSU-Newark. That's just it. There's no simpler way to say it. You want a soundbite? There it is. Because without that, I would probably be working at Owens Corning. A fine place to work. My dad worked there for 35 years. But it opened up an entire world of experience that I simply would not have been privy to. Graduate school, being a professor, now going out to Colorado State as a professor and chair, meeting my wife. All those things began with the first steps I took here at OSU-Newark. I would recommend OSU-Newark to complete strangers and to arch enemies. Because honestly, it's an affordable place. That's number one. We can't take that off the table. It is a quality place. It's a place where the faculty and the fellow students, I mean, I still have friends I met here. That's another important thing. I mean, I talked a lot about the professors, and they're great. I also still talk with the friends I made here, and that was 20, 25 years. And when you're in your 40s, you need to know people that you knew in your 20s. it makes life that much richer. And I had that rich experience here.